Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to do the most simple setup of Zookeeper. That is, we are going to download the Zookeeper from the Apache website and then we will set up on our machine. We'll run some basic commands so that we get a feel of it. And then we will move on to the multi-node setup in the next video. So let's first understand the basic setup. What is required for basic setup? You can have any OS. You can have Windows, Mac, or Linux. So what the general recommendation is that if you are deploying things on production, you would be using Linux. But for your development, you can use Windows and Mac. You need to use Java 8 and you need to set up the Java home. In this tutorial, I'm going to follow my setup on Mac, which is exactly the same as the setup on Linux. There's no difference at all. I will be running the commands on the scripts ending with .sh. However, if you are having Windows machine, the setup is same. All you need to do is to run the cmd command. So let's say I run zk-cli.sh. Then you just need to run zk-cli.cmd. It's the same. I hope you can set up Java 8 and Java Home on Windows as well. That should not be a problem. So let's quickly get started. If you see, these are the two websites which represent Zookeeper. One is the GitHub repo, github.com/apache/zookeeper. And this is the place where you can find that you need Java 8. And then there is another website which is zookeeper.apache.org. So this website will help you for all your references. Most of the things are mentioned here. At times, things are not very clear. So that's why I'm creating this video. But most of the cases, the things are covered here. You come here and then from here, all you can do is to download the zip file. Once you click, the download will start. Once the download is done, you can click on the link and it will unzip the file. So I have downloaded stuff. All I can do is I just need to copy. So you can run things from downloads as well, but I have a specific folder in my machine where I keep all my softwares. So let me just copy my stuff to this place. So once I have downloaded the setup, the way I need to run it is go to terminal or command line and then go to the window. So for me, it is Apache. And here you can see the list of folders. Let me do one more thing to open this folder in Visual Studio Code so that you can understand the look and feel of this folder. So this is how the structure of the downloaded folder looks like. You have a bin folder where there are a bunch of scripts which will help you to administer Zookeeper. And you can see that for all the cmd commands, there is an sh command. zk-cli, environment, server, and other stuffs. Most of the time, we will be dealing with zk-cli.cmd or sh and zk-server.sh. So these are the files which we will deal with. There is another configuration file which we'll deal with, that is zoo_sample.cfg. And here you can see the basic configuration is already set up. Now let's quickly move on to the overview of what we are planning to do. This is what we have already done. That is, we have downloaded the Zookeeper into our machine. And there are a bunch of configurations which are already set up in the sample configuration file, which we checked just now. So there are three things. One is the tick time, that is the heartbeat time by the clients. The other is the data directory, that is the folder in which all the temp information, the transaction logs, and the DB snapshots would be stored. And the third is the client port, that is using which port the clients would connect. There are other advanced configuration, but these are the basic ones. And even now, you don't need to bother much about it except for the client port. So using this client port, you would be connecting using the client. This is the basic command for the server. if you see here, it's zoo underscore sample.cfg. Zookeeper by default picks the configuration inside the conf folder with the name zoo.cfg. So let me quickly copy it and paste the sample configuration and rename it with the name which it identifies by default. And then we'll see how to pass the configuration name as well. There is one extra thing I did was that I created a folder name as data in my machine. All you need to do is to create an empty folder with the name as data. You can create anything, but if you create that, you can give the path of the data folder here so that all the temp information will be stored here. That's it, and you are done. Now let's go to the terminal and launch the Zookeeper server, and then we will open another terminal and launch the Zookeeper client. All right. So I have opened two terminals. You can open command prompt, or likewise in Linux, you can open a terminal, and I changed my present working directory to the place where my Zookeeper was extracted. Likewise, the other as well, the place where the Zookeeper was extracted. On the left side, I'll run the server, and on the right side, I'll run the client. The way you run your Zookeeper server is by this command. And you can see that the command is bin/zkserver.sh space start. So this is a command to start the Zookeeper server. Optionally, you can give the path to the configuration as well. This is completely optional. If you don't give the path, it will automatically find a folder name as conf, and within that folder, it will search for the file name zoo.cfg. But if there is a use case in which you want to have different CFG files based on maybe environment or something, in those cases, you can pass such parameters. So now if I run the Zookeeper server, it will start. So you can see on the left side that the Zookeeper server has started. I can also run the command like status, and it will give me the status of the Zookeeper server, that it is running with the mode equal to the standalone. Now coming to the client side, the command you need to run at the client side is this: bin/zkcli.sh -server localhost :2181. Again, this -server localhost 2181 is optional because you are connecting from local to local, and in such cases, these are the default values considered by the Zookeeper client. But if there is some other machine to which you want to connect to, you can give the IP and the port. Now let's run it, and you can see my client got connected. I can run some of the interesting commands to see what data you get from the server. So one such command is ls, and you can see I get some data from it. I can also run the commands like create, and I can give something like Anubhav Srivastav, and it will create a node named as Anubhav. So there are a bunch of commands which you can run. I will have a separate videos on what are the commands supported by Zookeeper clients on Zookeeper server, and then we can proceed. But overall, as a proof of concept, as a local setup, we are done. Before concluding the video, I want to show you one interesting stuff. So you see on the left side, I have a Zookeeper server, and on the right side, I have a Zookeeper client. Now let's see what happens if I stop my Zookeeper server. What happens to the client? So it's a standalone Zookeeper server. What I'll do is I will just stop my Zookeeper server, and you can see the client has started to show error because it was a standalone server. And if there was just one server which was shut down, so the client is not able to connect to it. And the moment I start my Zookeeper server, let's see what happens to the client. The client was able to reconnect. So this is an interesting part in Zookeeper, that the client is able to reconnect to the server. And since there was just one Zookeeper server, we got the error. So when somebody says Zookeeper is highly available, it does not mean that Zookeeper will never go down. if there are 10 servers of Zookeeper, or let's say 5 server of Zookeeper, and all the 5 servers go down, then of course the service will go down. But the thing is, this particular system works in terms of majority. That is called as quorum. That if majority of the servers are up, then the Zookeeper will be up. We'll talk about all these details around multi-node cluster in the next video. But this was just to give a gist of it, that Zookeeper works in terms of majority. And since in this case there was just one server, we had a problem. If this server goes down, the Zookeeper will go down. And that is not what we want, because we claim that Zookeeper is highly available. So yeah, I will talk about the multi-node Zookeeper cluster in the coming video. Till the next time, bye.